Hello and welcome. My name's Craig D'Souza. I'm the CEO of the Creative Industry Association. And today I have a dear friend, I've known her for a very long time, Jennie Boxall from the Artistic Stamper. Hello, Jennie, how are you?
I'm good, Craig. How are you?
Very well, thank you. We've known each other for a heck of a long time, haven't we?
Long time.
Very long time. Very. I think probably even I had hair back then. But we have known each other for some time. Jennie, for the people that are watching or watching the recording, just tell us who you are, what you do, how you got started. First of all, how did you get started, and what do you do?
Oh, well, in about 1991, which is close to 30 years ago, I happened upon somebody who was selling rubber stamps at a craft fair that I was selling jewelry at. And I went, oh, what are they? And she showed me embossing, heat embossing, and I was just taken. And I asked her if she could make a stamp for me, and she did. And it kind of took off from there. I joined forces with her. We created a company in Faversham, a rubber stamp company, rubber stamp manufacturing company, which lasted, I think, about a year or just under a year. And after that, she went back to the States and I started the Stamp Connection, which then has morphed into the Artistic Stamper, which is what we are today. So I was technically and always a manufacturer of rubber stamps. So I made rubber stamps. I had quite a few designers. We went through a lot of different catalogs, and I still make rubber stamps to this day. So I've been making rubber stamps for 30 years, which is quite a long time in this business.
Quite a long time. My God. Yeah. And obviously with 30 years of knowledge and experience under your belt, you've seen the creative landscape change. You've seen the industry change. And I'm hoping the answer is going to be for the best, for the positives. That you've seen it change. But what's the main thing that might have stood out in those 30 years?
To be honest, I'm not sure that there's really been any change. What goes around comes around. So right in the very beginning, you were stamping, heat embossing, colouring in. You know, people would see a picture of a stamp on a wood blocks, which they were, and they'd go, oh, I want to do that. And then they'd stamp it out and discover that it actually didn't stamp out how it looked on the wood block. So it went from embossing and colouring to adding more stuff, and then more product came online, and glitter and embossing powders. Embossing powders have always been around. Stickers, altered art, and it's just turned into a huge art form. People do whatever they want to do. You know, it's fantastic. It's amazing what you can do these days. It's incredible. And some things have dropped out. There are some things that you don't do or see so much anymore. But crafting is a huge industry. I mean, paper crafting is a huge industry, and not as big as it was. It used to be huge, but now it's not as big. And knitting and sewing has taken over in lots of ways, and I get that. I understand that. But it's it is what it is. But rubber stamps are still the core of my business anyway, if nothing else. So
I think that's an interesting point. Knitting, we know soft crafts, as I would call them, knitting, sewing. You know, people doing PPE and stuff like that. It's big business at the moment. But I also think, you know, both been in this industry for a long time. We see that crafts is a circle of life, where at the moment that knitting and sewing is very popular. But actually, if we wait a couple of more years, papercraft will then be king again, because it goes around in that cycle. Would you say that's right, that goes around?
I would say it was. I don't think it's really ever dropped out. The one thing that has dropped out in the UK is scrapbooking. And I sell a lot of 12 by 12 papers. And I do get people coming in who are still scrapbooking. But originally, when I started the shop, the girl who had it before me was a scrapbooker. And it literally, we've been in the shop now 9 years, and it dropped out more or less when I took the shop over and started to drop. So, but I do have 12 by 12 papers, and I still keep them. I still have Graphic 45, and I also sell a German company as well. So Alexander Renke. But it's a hard one. I don't think it's dropped out. Whether it gets bigger, I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on that and say yes or no. I think it's leveled itself out, to be honest.
I think the way people are accessing information now over the last, this pandemic that we're going through, people are accessing more information, and craft is more accessible to people because it's all on the internet. Now, obviously, because that's all on the internet, now you actually have a bricks and mortar shop as well as an online store. So where is your bricks and mortar shop?
My bricks and mortar shop is just outside Faversham in Kent, in East Kent, and out in the country. So it's lovely. It's a really nice area to be in because I can sit outside in the sun if there's nobody in the shop and just look across the fields. So that's why I like it out here. It's really nice. Not so good in the snow, but you can't have everything.
Now somebody, a little dicky bird told me that you trudged to the post office with bags of orders when it was snowing. Did you not?
I did. Yes, I did. Just to get my customers their orders. Whether they got them on time is up to the post office. But yeah.
Dedication to keeping your customers happy, even when it's.
Normally, I would take the week off. I must admit, I looked at it on Monday. I thought, no. By Tuesday, I thought I'm going to have to do it, or it's all going to back up. But yeah, I did. And it is what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. I think it's
send them out.
I think it's important keeping customers happy. Obviously, you make stamps, and that's fantastic. So now, the last 12 months have been horrendous for everybody, and I people always assume that there's you've had 30 years of business experience. You've run a shop, a successful shop. You've had a successful online business. There must be masses of staff that you have there. Working with you. Is that correct, or is that a complete false false vision?
No, I don't have anybody. There is literally me. Wow. So your order comes in, I process it, I pack it, I put it in the post box, or I frank it and give it to the postman. I make every single stamp that is sent out that is from the artistic stamper. I actually physically make every single one. So wow. Yeah, it's just me.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a proper entrepreneur, a proper just one person business managing it all. Which I know that there are a lot of people out there that are doing exactly the same thing. So congratulations on doing all of those sorts of things and keeping customers happy. So again, over the last 12 months, it's been a difficult time. You're on your own, doing it all. What has been the major challenges for you at this time?
During the last year? Very interesting question, actually, because the challenges are that I'm probably money is probably the biggest challenge, because although I have a successful online business, it's just continual. You have to continually push what you sell and do artwork and just sell what you buy. And that's probably my biggest challenge, I think. I'm sitting with stock, a lot of it. And actually, I think probably the biggest challenge I had when we set off on lockdown on March the 23rd, I believe it was March 23rd, 2020, was that my website was not up to date because I don't have one of them scan things in the shop. It's, you know, my stamps are not a problem. My own stamps are not a problem because I can replace those. But things like distress and papers and whatever was on the website was not up to date. So I spent the first 3 months trying to field orders and put stuff on the website and take it off the website. So when we reopened, every time somebody came in the shop, I had to write down what they bought and take it off the website after they'd gone. And often I'd be here quite late, taking stuff off the website and keeping my fingers crossed that nobody had bought it online. And I'm just not that up to date. I don't have one of them scanner things, and I've no intention of having one. So
yeah. So it's staying up later,
that was
making
probably
sure
my
that
biggest. That was probably my biggest challenge. I think that was the one. And even to this day, not everything in the shop is on the website because I haven't got time to put it on there. I just don't. I'm not going to work 12, 15 hours a day. I haven't got time. I haven't got the energy. You know, we're all tired. I think we're all exhausted. Even people who are running business and people who aren't, who are just sitting waiting to reopen their shops. Are just tired. We're tired. And mentally, I'm lucky I can go and do a little bit of art if I want to. It's not very good, I must admit. And actually, for me to relax, I go and do someone else's class.
Yeah, it's good.
I do. That's what I've always done.
Yeah. And is there anything? Obviously, I don't want to end on, you know. Obviously, there's been struggles and time and money are a struggle. But are there any positives out of the last 12 months that you can find that you kind of think, well, actually, this has helped me do something else, or is there any positives out there?
One thing I did take up was knitting, bizarrely. There are a couple of people who tell you I can't knit. And I did actually start a scarf, so that was a positive. Have I finished it? No. Of course I haven't. It's to be knitting it next year. But I think one of the positives is that there is another way. So you don't physically have to have bricks and mortar shop. You can actually do online. The girls from Paper Artsy have all done the most amazing online classes, and I know there are loads more out there people who've done classes and kept people informed and busy and trying not to think that they're locked down and all those sort of things. So I think that's probably the biggest positive with the classes, and it was something that I started. I did a test with a couple of people, and we test run it in a group that we have, and it was great. It was really good fun, and I thought, oh, I'll be able to do my own classes. No, I didn't quite get time. I've done one, and that's available if anybody wants to look at it, because I do altered books. That's my bag. But I actually physically haven't got time, which is very odd, to create another class. So I do a live every week, every Friday.
Yeah. The live's good. I think it's good, and I think you're right. The positives out of this are people are diversifying and finding new ways and new paths, which is great. And I think we are so lucky that we work in an industry that not only educates but inspires, but also builds communities. And to a certain degree, we've lost that feel touch element of it. But actually, what we haven't lost is the see, the connect, the educate, the inspirational stuff that all businesses do within this space, which is fantastic to see.
That's a good way of putting it. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, see, feel, inspire, create. Yeah, it is. I mean, just not being able to physically teach people, and it is the hardest thing in the world. And I wouldn't I'm not sure I want to do it ever again. But the hardest thing in the world is talking to a camera when you can't see anyone.
Yeah.
And I started an interactive class last week. I did a lot online class, online free class that I do on the Artistic Stamper every Friday while we're in lockdown. It probably won't, I don't do it when the shop's open because it's too complicated. But actually it turned into an interactive class. So this Friday coming, I'm going to try and do an interactive class with the people who are there. And it is just hard because you get the delay when people are replying to you. So you have to wait, you have to be patient. And I'm not a very patient person. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it because I've got something in my head and I'm going to see if that works. And if it does, then it's something different. That I do think people do interactive classes. I don't watch everyone's classes, I must admit. I do watch a few. Or I go and pay for a few. But yeah, I don't know if people do interactive classes. You can do it on Zoom, which is great. Yeah. I have like 40 people look at my club, my freeze on Fridays, and there's no way in hell that I am doing Zoom with 40 people. I'd have to mute them all.
It can be a minefield with so many people. You know, I do a Zoom call every Friday at 5 p.m. with some people, and anybody can join. Anybody can. It's a free thing to join, and we just talk about the industry and what's going on. And I'm lucky that you know, the most that we've ever had maybe about 20 people. And that's just nice and manageable because you can get, it's only an hour and you can get around everybody. Everybody can then have their own piece, a segment and talk. Any more than that, and it just becomes quite difficult to manage. So I quite like that.
There will be something. I mean, you can invite people into your Facebook live, and I so want to do that one day. I'm just you know, when we come out of when we come out of whatever they consider to be a final lockdown, and to be honest, I'm not sure that there will be one. I think there'll be more because they don't know lots of things about the virus or the jab thing, whatever it's called.
The vaccines, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So, you know, one day I will say to everybody, right, if you want to come in my video, come in. Just break the internet with it.
That'd be fantastic. See what happens. I might take you up on that and pop down and see you. So just a couple more questions for you. One of them, again, tapping into your 30 years of experience and knowledge within the industry. Do you have any advice, top tips for people that might be starting out, might be in business at the moment? What would be your offering of advice to them?
You don't want to hear my answer because you might.
I was just about to say, Jenny, be nice. Be nice and positive now.
I had my time again. And this is my only bit of advice to people who are thinking of opening a bricks and mortar. I'm not talking online because that's a completely different ballgame. If I had my time again and I was shown this place and someone said to me, do you want to take up the lease on it? I would actually say no. And that's not because I haven't enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. But because if I could have had a crystal ball, I probably wouldn't have done it. But no, I think if you're going to open a bricks and mortar shop, you need to know exactly what you're doing. You need to know exactly what you're going to sell, and you need to be able to diversify. And that is the one thing that will probably keep you going.
I think that's,
diversifying in this business is quite hard, but we have looked at.
Yeah, I think that's a great bit of advice on if you have a bricks and mortar, it's diversifying. And I know that might be really difficult right now, depending on when this video goes out and when you're watching it. But it is being able to diversify and adapt and change as soon as you possibly can with the current trends that are going on, with whatever is happening. Not wait until they pass you by.
Yeah,
Might help you, might survive.
yeah, it's hard though. I can't really. I mean, we diversify. We got some fabrics, which is. I think you need to. I mean, for argument's sake, when the lockdown, and this is just a point in case, when the lockdown started on March 23rd, we very foolish. We are out. We don't live here. Lots of people think we live, but we don't. We're out in. It's kind of a hamlet, and there's no shops, and we very, very foolishly did not add food to our. We could have opened up at the front with bread and eggs and stuff, and actually diversified and got people in through the door because they could walk to us because there was no traffic, there was nothing. And when the second lockdown came in November, we again said maybe we should have done that. And I said no, because then I have to be here every day to open up. So that would have been something that, because you could open if you sold it essential products, you could open, and we could have opened up. You could open up if you sold masks, which was, you know, ridiculous, really. Yeah,
that's so a whole new ball game of what's essential and what's not, isn't it? So
yeah. And crafting is very essential to my customers. That would be that would be right.
It is essential. It's a very good, you know, it's a mindfulness. It's to say it takes people's minds off it. It's a healing process and all these sorts of things that we could talk about with craft, which is exciting. So Jenny, I ask everybody that I'm doing these interviews for about words of intent for the rest of the year. A word or something that you want to hang your hat on, that you want to try to do, be, become, aspire to, whatever that might be. And I've got now people putting these words on their notice boards and everything else. Mine's is challenge and inspire. I want to challenge myself to be a better person. I want to challenge myself to make sure the association is bigger and better. I want to be able to inspire not just myself and family, but people like yourself and the industry to be more community-led, more focused, more driven on what they want to do. So those are my two words: challenge and inspire. What are yours? What would yours be?
Positivity. I think that's probably the one thing that I would take away from 2020, 2021. Positivity. We created the set of stamps, and someone came up with the word positive vibes, and they have really, really taken off. People have really liked them, and I guess it's positivity. Because we've got to be positive about the future. We don't have a choice. I have step-grandchildren, and I have to be positive for them, and positive for my mother, who's in her late 80s. So I think we do have to be positive and go forward, because there's no point in looking back, because we're going to be looking at a completely different world when this thing.
Thank you for being child friendly.
Sorry, I'm probably going to have to cut it. When this thing, this virus, finally sort of goes the way that flu has. So yeah, positive. Let's be positive about it all, which is hard. It's very hard to be positive when you're surrounded by stuff that takes over.
Yes, it is. But every day is a new day. Every day is a learning day. And I think you've got to, for anybody, for everybody, it's small mercies, and it could be a whole lot worse. So really, positivity and positive mindset. And you know, on that, one of my things is talk to people, whether it's friends, neighbours, whether it's the association, whether it's myself, whether you come on calls to share your thoughts or just listen to other people's trials and tribulations, and you want you to share your own talk. We are all in this together, and that's the thing. And to stay positive, and because don't forget, if you stay positive, then all of that inspiration, all of that education, all of that positivity that you have, then transfers onto other people and all your customers. And
yeah,
I believe that we are in this industry because we want to inspire and we want to make people feel good about themselves, and craft and creativity does that.
I think you're right, actually. It's interesting doing the lives, and to be honest, the last year, well, since March last year, and then I dived into the lives, I think in August. I can't remember when I dived into them. I thought I've got to do some, and it was really interesting going on and watching people talking to me, typing in, and I found that, yes, I was positive when I was doing a piece of art, and that was a great piece of joy. I come off thinking, oh, that was a terrible video, but people say actually it was quite good. So yes, it's interesting. I try to be positive on those, and not show people how hard it is, because I think everyone's struggling inside.
We all, you know, once these cameras go off, I'll be under my duvet, rocking backwards and forwards, crying into my favourite teddy bear. You know, we all have these sort of moments, but it's always great to put on the facade. No one ever knows what goes on behind your closed doors, and no one knows what other people.
I've always said that. I've actually always said that. It's one of those odd things. Yeah. And I'm lucky. My family are safe. We're okay. We've all had our moments, you know. I'm still having them, so it's not something that's going to go away. It's definitely not. But yeah, positivity, I think, is really a good word to take forward. It's a bit like Sir Captain Tom Moore, who said tomorrow will be a good day, but actually he qualified it and said if tomorrow comes. He did qualify that. Which I thought was quite high. Tomorrow will be a good day if tomorrow comes. He qualified that in an interview that he gave, and I listened to it twice and thought, yeah, okay.
Fantastic. What an inspirational chap, and also yourself, an inspirational lady. So I thank you so much for taking the time just to a brief look at who you are and what you're going through. And all the links for the artistic sample will be at the end of this video and the comments below. But for now, Jennie, I thank you very much, and take care, and all the best to you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Craig.